must not live in fear. Say it loud, say it clear. Muslims must not live in fear.
The French High Court have ruled that these bans are illegal, which is fantastic and testament to the protests, but we also know that we cannot rely on states to implement these things.
Seeing people come out today and seeing people come out being outraged is incredibly comforting, knowing that you're not alone and isolated and alienated from the larger community.
When people say that the French court's changed its mind, it's because people have come out in outrage about what's happening. The idea of 4 armed people surrounding a woman, telling her to take her clothes off and telling us it's civilization. This is what civilization looks like, makes my blood boil. And I tell you where it comes from. It comes from seeing Donald Trump next to Nigel Farage saying the same stuff. That the problems in our society are blamed on Muslim. And actually, when you look at the figures, the attacks on Muslim women have gone up by 100%.
If it was in any other context and they asked any other woman if she was not Muslim to remove her clothing, it would be a sexual harassment or sexual assault.
My name's Taranjit Chana. I'm here from the union movement, the trade union movement, who are champions of equality. And the trade union movement stands in solidarity with everyone who's here and all our brothers and sisters who are facing racism around the world. And what we need to do today is to call out what this is. We face racism every day. Racism is an everyday thing. And now we see our Muslim brothers and sisters fighting Islamophobia every day. As soon as they go out every day, whether it's to work, whether it's on the tubes, whether it's to accessing housing, they're facing discrimination every day. So we need to stand in solidarity. I want to thank all of you from the trade union movement. As we're champions of equality, we stand together with you.
The fact that they used the word hygienic and said it was unclean for them to wear such layers of clothes and resembles the ways in which Jewish were treated before. This is an Islamic phobia thing, not a thing about liberation of Muslim women.
They used to say that Jewish people couldn't go back into German beaches because of hygiene. In Jackson, Mississippi, they used to say that black people couldn't swim with white people because of hygiene. Because that's how it starts, about isolating and othering people. And we have to make a stand about this. Why? There's a woman called Marine Le Pen. And Marine Le Pen is a Nazi. Her father's a Nazi and she's a Nazi. And actually, when those people start cheering, everybody in Europe should be worried. Because they stand in a tradition. They stand in a tradition of the gas chambers. And yesterday, it was the Jewish community they targeted. Today, it's the Muslim community they targeted. But we should not be shocked about this. It's a simple attempt to isolate people. I tell you what's the best thing. It's the amount of solidarity that people have received in France because people have spoken out. And Nicolas Sarkozy, he wants to be the president. Shame on him, because the question of the presidency is not scapegoating women in order to get in votes. I don't mind that he wears platform shoes because he's too short. And he comes up short on politics and short on any kind of idea of justice or freedom. And we should reject his racism. We reject it. The reason why we have stand up against racism is because, like all of you, we are not going back to the days, the old days. No blacks, no Irish, no dogs. That is not going to happen in this country or inside France. We're going to stand in solidarity, aren't we? We're going to stand in solidarity against that. The proudest thing, I think, is that we unite everybody. Black, gay, straight, LGBT, women, men, anybody, young, old. We can unite people and we can break back and push back the racists. We can make sure that we win. Please come to the conference. When people say what's changed things, the things that change things are everybody here. We have to build a movement. I'd like to ask everybody to become the leader of Stand Up to Racism. We're all going to be the leaders, Stand Up to Racism. Jeremy Corbyn told me he's coming to the conference because he's going to speak out against racism. But the most important thing is if everybody here starts to organise in their schools, their workplaces, to make sure that we can stand up against this. I think we can win that battle, and in their schools and their nurseries, as somebody's pointed out here. We can win that battle if we stand together, united. So I'm glad that we're standing out. We're going to overturn the ban. We're going to overturn the ban. And the final thing is, the last time I was here was to say that refugees are welcome here. I'm going to say it every time. I want to see the closure of the jungle camp. Animals belong in the jungle, not people. They are welcome here. And we have to make sure the children, the 10,000 children that have disappeared, we have to find them and we have to give them a home. It's a disgrace. Don't worry about how people dress. Think about you leaving children without shoes in the middle of a bus place. That's what you should be worried about in terms of clothes, not about how women are dressed. That's why I think we have to say that they're welcome here.
Here to stay, here to fight. Muslim women have the right.
Thank you. LGBT against Islamophobia was formed because we identified that the Muslim community was being targeted and scapegoated and held responsible for all of the evils of the world in a way that happened to lesbians and gay people back in the 1980s around the question of AIDS and lots of other evils of the world for which we subsequently became scapegoats. We also saw a parallel between the way in which the PREVENT strategy that the teacher has just spoken about has targeted Muslim students in schools and the way that Section 28 targeted lesbians and gay people and bisexual and transsexual people in schools in the 1980s and 1990s, right through actually to the present day, where people still feel scared to talk openly about these issues inside schools. So we identified very strongly as one oppressed community with another, but we also took severe offence at the way in which so-called liberal ideas about feminism and about liberal attitudes towards homosexuality were being used precisely then to attack Muslim people, and the way in which our oppression was being used to whip up oppression of another group of people. And that was the reason that we formed LGBT Against Islamophobia. And I'm really glad that we did, you know, because it's a small step when the state starts telling you how to behave and look and who you should love if you're a man or if you're a woman. Why you should not wear a dress if you're a man, and why you should wear a dress and makeup if you're a woman. Why, if you win the 800 metres in fantastic style, but you happen to be black and not look very womanly, then you can't really be a woman. Why? It's a small step from that behaviour to being surrounded by armed police on a beach and being told to take your top off. And of course, we know that is the same state, the same government, the same class-ridden education system, the same group of racist policemen and women that are doing this to different oppressed communities. And if we don't stand up and protest every single one of these, then to paraphrase Malcolm X, they will have you ending up loving the oppressor and hating the oppressed. And we are not going to stand for that. If anybody wants to get involved with LGBT Against Islamophobia, please do look us up on Facebook.
Our rights to decide, our bodies, our life, our rights to decide.
You can't say liberation of women is to unclothe her. The liberation of women is to give them opportunities. The liberation of women is to give them opportunities in education instead of kicking them out. To give them opportunities in work, and considering the level of unemployment in France among Muslim women, if you really truly cared about them, you'd be ensuring that they had the opportunity to work, having the opportunity to education, giving them childcare, giving them the opportunity to stopping them from being so burdened, isolated, alienated from the larger community. And it's not only in France but across Europe, and it's here, of course, considering the PREVENT agenda that's targeting Muslims every single day.
And I hope people will also come to the Stand Up to Racism conference on October the 8th, where we can come together and discuss how we can all fight to rid ourselves of homophobia, transphobia, racism, sexism, and for a better society. Thank you.
Say it loud, say it clear. Muslims must not live